Welcome back to Enriching Bankers. We are going to discuss about KYC policy. This is the continuation of KYC policy. Customer acceptance policy. What are the best ways to mitigate money laundering or terrorism financing or frauds? Not dealing with criminal background customers and dealing with genuine customers are the best ways to mitigate ML or TF or frauds. Is it that simple to identify who is a criminal background customer and who is a genuine customer? For that, customer acceptance policy CAP has given clear parameters for accepting customers. Customer acceptance policy CAP has given clear parameters for accepting the customers. CAP is the first key element of the KYC policy. So we have seen that RBI advised four key elements must be included in the KYC policy. In that, customer acceptance policy is the first key element. It is also called bedrock of the KYC policy. PML Act has given prohibitions under customer acceptance policy. According to the Rule 9 of 11 of PML Act, banks should not open or keep the following accounts. So what are those accounts? First one, an anonymous account. Anonymous means unknown. That means no person can be identified with that name. For example, man is the name of an account. So nobody can be identified with the name of man. One more example, boy. Nobody can be identified with the name of boy. So that's why they are called anonymous names and anonymous accounts. So no account should be opened in an anonymous name. Second one, an account in fictitious names should also not be opened. Fictitious names means imaginary names. Krishna Agro Industries Limited is a company. All legal and regulatory documents are on the name of Krishna Agro Industries Limited. But they want to open an account on the name of Coffee House. Coffee House is the fictitious name. It is an imaginary name. That's why no account should be opened on the name of Coffee House because this name does not have any legal or regulatory documents. Third, an account on behalf of other persons whose identity has not been disclosed or cannot be verified. For example, Krishna Agro Industries Limited is a company. They want to open an account on the name of Krishna Agro Industries Limited. For that, they have given legal and regulatory documents pertaining to the Krishna Agro Industries Limited. But they have not given identity documents related to the beneficiary owners of that company. So identity of beneficiary owners of that company has not been disclosed. In that case, no account should be opened. Okay, if they also given identity of beneficial owners of Krishna Agro Industries Limited, but those identities cannot be verified. then also no account should be opened on the name of Vishnu Agro Industries Limited. So that's why these accounts should not be opened. These accounts are prohibited according to Rule 9 of 11 of PML Act. RBI has also given guidelines under the customer acceptance policy. Coming to that, first one, opening of account in the on the binomy name is not permitted. So no account should be opened on the binomy name. Binomy just lends his name to some other person. That person operates his account and does transactions. Binomy just lends his name to another person to open an account on his name. That's it. Second one, if the bank is unable to apply CDD measures due to non-cooperation and non-reliability of the documents or information furnished by the customer, no account should be opened. For example, one person came to you and asked you to open an account on his proprietorship firm. For that, he has given related documents to you. While doing scrutiny of those documents, you got something is suspicious. For that, you asked him further reliable documents and information on the proprietorship firm. After that, neither he cooperated nor he submitted reliable documents or information to you. So then that account should not be open because you are unable to apply appropriate customer due diligence measures. You could not apply the customer due diligence measures because of non-cooperation and non-reliability of the documents. So that's why no account should be opened if bank is unable to apply appropriate customer due diligence measures. No transaction should be undertaken without following the CDD procedures. If you are unable to follow the customer due diligence procedures, then the transaction should not be undertaken. Then that transaction should not be done. Next, no account should be opened without following the CDD procedure. Here, if you are unable to apply customer due diligence procedures, then no account should be opened, no transaction should be done. Next, all mandatory information for the purpose of KYC should be asked at the time of onboarding of the customer, or at the time of opening of an account, or at the time of taking a loan, and while doing periodic updation, or while doing re-KYC, while doing KYC periodical compliance. Next, if any additional or optional information is required, then that information should be obtained after opening the account with the consent of the customer. So all the mandatory information related to the KYC should be asked at the time of onboarding of the customer and during periodic information. If you want any additional or optional information, then that information should be obtained after opening the account with the consent of the customer. For example, religion or number of dependents. Those things can be asked after opening the account. Next, if an existing KYC compliant customer wants to open another account, then no need to do a fresh CDD exercise. He is already an existing customer and also KYC compliant customer. Then no need to do a fresh CDD exercise. For example, if a customer is an existing customer but he his KYC is not compliant, then you have to do a fresh CDD exercise. Here, two conditions are there. Customer is an already existing customer and also KYC compliant. Both should be taken under considered. So both should be considered here. If an existing customer, KYC compliant customer wants to open another account, then no need to do fresh CDD exercise. Next, while opening a joint account, CDD procedure should be followed to all the joint account. If you are going to open a joint account, then all joint account holders CDD procedure should be followed, should be done. Next, after taking all the information and required documents, the bank should permit the customer to act on behalf of another person or entity without taking information and required documents. Bank should not permit the customer or a person to act on behalf of another person or entity. So no account should be or no person should be permitted without taking all the information and required documents to act on behalf of another person or entity. If the customer provides PAN, then online verification of PAN is mandatory. If PAN is provided, then online verification of PAN is mandatory. Next, where an equivalent e-document is obtained from the customer, the bank should verify digital signature as per Rule 21 of Information Technology Act 2000. If a person gives equivalent e-document, then digital signature should be verified according to Rule 21 of IT Act 2000. If any person or entity's name appears in the negative list of the following organization, then that account should not be opened on that person or entity name. So banks should not open an account or providing service to any person or entity whose name appears in the negative list of the following organizations. First one, FIU alert list. FIU means Financial Intelligence Unit alert list. UAPA 1967. UAPA Unlawful Activities Prevention Act 1967 list. Third one, caution advice issued by RBI. Fourth one, criminal list of various law enforcement authorities like CBI, EOW means Economic Offences Wing, ED Enforcement Directorate, DRI means Directorate of Revenue Intelligence, etc. Criminal list of various law enforcement authorities like CBI, EOW, ED, DRI, etc. Next, ECGC caution list. Next, sanctions list of various countries like USA, UK, EU. If any person's or entity's name appears in these negative lists, then the account should not be opened on that person or entity's name. Next, documents or information requirement. All the required documents or information should be collected according to the legal or regulatory requirements based on the type of customer. All the required documents or information should be collected according to the legal or regulatory requirements based on the type of customer. If the person is a proprietorship, then all required documents and information should be collected according to the proprietorship firm legal and regulatory requirements. If it is a company, then all related documents related to the company documents should be collected. Next, after collecting the documents, genuineness of the customer and his activity must be determined for the perception of risk. So it is essential that after collecting information and documents, all required documents, genuineness of the customer and his activity must be determined for the perception of risk. It is essential that after collecting required documents and information, genuineness of the customer and his activity must be determined for the perception of risk. Next, customer risk categorization. Each customer, each customer should be assessed according to the money laundering or terrorism financing risk guidelines and parameters while preparing customer profiling or customer profile sheet. So while preparing customer profile sheet, each customer should be assessed according to ML or TF risk guidelines and parameters. After that, this information should be clearly stated or spelled out in the customer profile sheet. While preparing the customer profiling sheet, each customer should be assessed according to ML or TF risk guidelines and parameters. Same thing should be clearly stated or spelled out in the customer profile sheet. After preparation of customer profile sheet, the concerned risk categories such as low or medium or high should be assigned to the customers. After preparing customer profiling sheet, the concerned risk categories such as low or medium or high risk should be assigned to those customers. If after assigning the risk to the customer, if any customer carries high risk or has complex arrangements, then approval from higher level authority should be taken for establishing customer relationship. So after taking considered risk categories or after assigning considered risk categories, if any customer carries high risk or has complex arrangements, then approval from higher level authorities must be taken for establishing customer relationship. We have gone through prohibitions by PML Act, and we have gone through many guidelines given by RBI under customer acceptance policy. That does not mean you should express doubts on each and every customers. That does not mean that you should deny all the customers for providing banking facilities. That's why these guidelines are given for understanding and for awareness. That does not mean you should be too restrictive. So the policy should not be too restrictive. All the guidelines for understanding and awareness. That does not mean you should express doubts on each and every person. You should deny all the banking facilities to customers. So the policy should not be too restrictive, and you should not deny any banking facilities to general public, especially who are financially or socially disadvantaged. Based on guidelines given by RBI and prohibitions by PML Act, you should not deny any banking facilities to general public or financially or socially disadvantaged people. That's why that policy should not be too restrictive.